Perhaps you have been walking through this life with an undeniable, persistent feeling that you are operating on a completely different frequency than everyone else. This isn't a simple hunch or a momentary feeling of being an outsider. It is a deep, seated spiritual reality that constantly whispers to your soul. You have a knowing, an inner conviction that your purpose extends far beyond the mundane routines and shallow pursuits that seem to satisfy the masses. From your earliest memories, you've sensed this internal fire, a divine spark that refuses to be quenched by the world's cold logic or its attempts to force you into a conventional mold. This unshakable inner knowing is the first great sign of your true identity. The spaces and systems where others find comfort often feel incredibly restrictive, almost like a beautifully designed cage to you. The daily grind and the popular culture that preoccupy the minds of your peers offer no real sustenance to your hungry spirit. They only breed a kind of spiritual emptiness. Their conversations, which revolve around fleeting material gains or transient drama, often feel utterly meaningless. While the majority eagerly follow well-worn paths and conform to societal expectations, your soul constantly rebels. It yearns for something ancient, profound, and authentically true. You feel this profound disconnection because, in the deepest sense, your spirit is simply not aligned with the world's passing shadows. This perpetual feeling of misalignment raises a critical question within your heart. Why does the world constantly misunderstand you? Why does your spirit feel so profoundly misplaced, like a rare, uncut gem hidden amongst common stones, in a reality that moves at a pace and rhythm completely different from your own? The answer, chosen one, is monumental, and it is the key to unlocking your true power. The reason for your unique spiritual restlessness is this: you are not entirely human. This statement is meant to challenge the very core of your accepted reality and shatter the limitations you've placed upon yourself. Take a moment to let that truth resonate, not just in your mind, but deep within the quiet chambers of your spirit. This is not a grand metaphor or an abstract philosophical concept. It is an absolute truth waiting to be unveiled. You carry a spiritual essence, a divine signature, that predates your birth into this physical world. Your original blueprint, your very essence, did not originate solely from the dust of the earth. Instead, it was crafted from a substance that transcends this visible realm. The very life force that pulses within your veins is interwoven with a truth that human science or worldly logic cannot fully dissect or explain. You are a sacred vessel, and within you resides a touch of the incomprehensible divine, a profound mystery perfectly hidden in plain sight. The vast majority of people will walk right past this truth, blinded by the illusions of the matrix they inhabit. But for those with the spiritual intuition, the ears to hear, this is a revelation. The world has tirelessly attempted to convince you that you are merely ordinary, that your greatest ambition should be to blend seamlessly into the crowd and follow the established, often flawed, rules of the system. This deception has been their most potent weapon. Yet, a powerful and untamed element deep within your core has always refused this lie. Something in your spirit has fiercely resisted the pressure to conform, to quiet your passion, and to settle for mediocrity. This constant internal resistance is the living, breathing evidence that you were never designed to fit into this temporal structure. This message, let me be clear, is not for everyone who stumbles across it. Many will hear these words and immediately dismiss them as fantastical or arrogant. They are not ready for this level of spiritual freedom. But you, if you are truly one of the set apart, will feel an immediate and intense confirmation resonate within your soul. Your spirit will bear witness to the profound reality I am about to articulate. Therefore, I implore you, open your heart wider than ever before, open your mind to possibilities beyond the five senses, and allow the purifying fire of this divine truth to consume every single lie, fear, and limiting belief that has been embedded in you. Today, right now, your journey of profound spiritual remembering begins, and you will step into the full knowledge of who you are. So, if your fundamental nature is not purely human, the urgent question remains, what exactly are you? To grasp this answer, we must revisit the original text, the ultimate source document of creation. The scripture declares, "Then God said, Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion." Genesis 1:26. What is truly implied by the phrase, "made in the image of God"? It means you are not defined by the limitations of your physical body or your temporary flesh and blood. You are fundamentally spirit. Your truest, deepest nature is not contained or constrained by the boundaries of this physical world. This is the very reason you possess an uncanny ability to perceive things that remain invisible to others. This is why your dreams are so vast, so bold, and so seemingly impossible within the current reality. This is why your inner being remains perpetually restless, constantly yearning for a spiritual home that lies far beyond the constraints of this fleeting life. You were never intended to be confined by the fragile limitations that define the majority of the world. Your spiritual DNA carries a distinct and indelible divine encoding. It holds the very fingerprint of the Creator Himself. It is this unique, divine characteristic that irrevocably sets you apart. This is why the world often fails to comprehend your motives, your actions, and your deeper perspective. This is why your intentions are so frequently misinterpreted by others. They are viewing you through a purely human lens, which is insufficient to grasp your multidimensional reality. You often feel as though you are walking in a dimension of purpose that others simply cannot access. You are far more than a mere human being. You are, in reality, a powerful spirit temporarily housed within a mortal body. You are an eternal consciousness, currently engaged in a brief yet critical physical experience. You are a masterpiece of divine creation, carrying the very life breath of the Almighty deep within your being. This is precisely why the forces of darkness work relentlessly, day and night, to ensure you never fully grasp the magnificent scope of your true spiritual identity. The moment you fully awaken to the incredible reality of who you are, you will instantly break free from the world's limitations. You will no longer be held captive by fear, paralyzed by doubt, or resigned to a life of mediocrity. You will rise up, boldly stepping into the dominion that was ordained for you. You will begin to command the atmosphere around you and witness reality shifting in response to the conviction of your faith. Why? Because you are not just a person. You are the living, breathing image of God, His specially chosen, set-apart representative. Embracing this reality is not a gradual process. It is an immediate, seismic shift in your existence. You will never be the same again once you accept this truth. Before we go deeper into the practical application of this powerful revelation, I want to take a moment to acknowledge and deeply thank every single person who actively supports this vital mission. Your generosity, whether through a contribution, a like, or a simple comment, is not just appreciated. It is a powerful act of faith, helping to amplify this faltering message to countless souls desperately searching for truth and purpose. Your partnership helps us break down spiritual barriers and foster profound transformation in people's lives globally. Just as the smallest, most sincere offerings were valued in ancient times, your support carries immense, eternal significance. You are not merely donating, you are actively collaborating in a divine kingdom-building work. Thank you for standing resolutely with us in this sacred calling. Together, we are indeed making an eternal impact that will echo across generations and spiritual realms. If the profound truth of this message has resonated with your deepest self, I urge you to pause this moment and take 3 significant actions that serve as powerful declarations. First, hit the like button as a sign of spiritual agreement. Second, subscribe to join this community and help us reach the next level of global impact. Third, leave a comment with the single, declarative phrase, "I know who I am." This act is not for me. It is a powerful spiritual signal to the universe, amplifying the energy of this message and solidifying your commitment. Remember this warning: if you are not prepared to genuinely receive this level of radical truth, your resistance may cause you to tune out before the end. But for those who are truly chosen, your spirit already knows this journey is for you, and your life will be irrevocably changed by the time the video concludes. Now, let's continue our deep dive into the essence of your identity. In the book of John, Jesus made an astounding foundational statement that fundamentally redefined the nature of his followers. They are not of the world, just as I am not of the world. John 17:16. Meditate on that powerful sentence. Who was he describing? He was speaking about his selected ones, his followers, the very people who were deliberately sent into this physical reality, but whose spiritual citizenship and loyalty lay elsewhere. This truth establishes a clear, undeniable distinction, revealing that there are fundamentally two spiritual classes of people walking on this earth: those whose primary allegiance is to the world, and those whose primary allegiance is to the transcendent, divine realm. The first group, those who are of the world, are utterly bound to its systems, its fleeting desires, and its temporary structures. Their thoughts, their ambitions, and their sense of existence are completely tied to the earthly matrix. They chase after things that have no lasting value, and their lives are lived and concluded according to the flawed, temporary rules established by man. They are governed entirely by what their physical eyes can see, what their ears can hear, and what their temporal emotions can feel. However, the second group, the chosen ones who are emphatically not of this world, are fundamentally different. Their true, everlasting existence neither starts nor ends within this earthly sphere. Their thoughts, their wisdom, and their operational understanding of reality function on a significantly higher spiritual plane. Their deepest desires and core values are entirely misaligned with the fleeting, often corrupt, ways of this world. Their spirits are attuned to a radically different, divine frequency, one that the average person's limited spiritual antenna cannot possibly detect or comprehend. If you are resonating with this message, then you are a card-carrying member of that second, set-apart group. Your physical body may have been birthed on this planet, following the biological cycle, but your eternal spirit was initiated and birthed in a realm far beyond. Your true origin is celestial. Your existence was an intentional and precise part of the divine plan, conceived before the concept of time itself. This is why you constantly feel like an absolute stranger in your own geographical location. This spiritual disconnection is why the world has never truly embraced you or understood the core of your being. This is why you cannot sincerely connect with the world's systems, its superficial values, or its destructive desires, because the fundamental essence of your soul does not belong here. And, chosen one, this very fact is simultaneously your most significant spiritual asset and your greatest ongoing challenge. You were never meant to fit in, you were never called to merge indistinguishably with the crowd, and you were certainly never intended to be comfortable in a world that is scheduled to pass away. You were intentionally set apart, divinely called, and eternally sealed for a higher purpose. Therefore, it is imperative that you stop trying to be like everyone else. Stop attempting to force your powerful, unique self into a restrictive, pre-made mold that you were never designed to occupy. Stop wasting your precious energy seeking the fleeting validation of a world that is not your eternal home. You are not of this world, precisely as the King of Glory is not of this world. Soon, the one who called you will return, and a final, permanent separation of these two distinct groups will occur. When a powerful element is introduced into a setting where it clearly does not belong, its difference immediately becomes strikingly obvious. Imagine a magnificent, full-grown lion majestically walking down a crowded city street. It simply does not blend. The local inhabitants would be gripped by fear, immediately attempting to contain it, control it, and ultimately cage it. Why? Because it is fundamentally not one of them. It operates by different rules. Chosen one, this is the profound reason you experience such intense and consistent resistance in your life. This is why people so frequently and spectacularly misunderstand your intentions. No matter how diligently you try to normalize your life or blend into the social landscape, an invisible, powerful force always seems to push you back out. The rejection you experience is a spiritual marker. Why does this rejection follow you? Because you were never meant to seamlessly integrate. The world instinctively recognizes that you are fundamentally different, even though it lacks the spiritual vocabulary to explain the feeling. Because the world senses that you do not belong, its systems will tirelessly attempt to break your spirit. They will try to force you into spiritual conformity, instill self-doubt, and ultimately persuade you to abandon your high calling. But you must never fall for this transparent deception. The rejection you endure is not a spiritual curse. It is a powerful, undeniable confirmation of your identity. You are struggling not because you are weak, but because you possess an immense, often unrecognized power. You are resisted not because you are insignificant, but because you are divinely priceless. The realm of darkness does not waste its resources attacking that which poses no threat to its rule. This is precisely why darkness instinctively recoils from light. This is why the enemy's strategies are specifically designed to neutralize those who carry a powerful divine purpose. Systems are engineered to suppress the influence of the chosen, because the moment you fully awaken to the totality of who you are, you will become spiritually unstoppable. That is the ultimate fear of the Dark Kingdom. So the definitive lie, faltering question before you now is this: will you fully rise up and boldly embrace the divine calling on your life? Will you walk fearlessly as the spiritual lion you were always created to be? Or will you permit the world to successfully place you in a psychological cage of fear and limitations? Now that you have fully grasped the profound reality that you are not truly of this world, let us explore the 5 immediate, practical ways you can live victoriously in this world. The first step: stop trying to fit in. You were never designed for the mundane function of blending in. You were meticulously made to brilliantly stand out. Cease seeking fleeting validation from people who were never spiritually equipped to understand the depth of your destiny. The world will always resist what it cannot control, and it will perpetually hate those who carry the light of a higher dimension. Instead of desperately chasing approval, fully embrace your spiritual difference. Walk in the profound confidence that your sacred separation from the world is the indisputable proof that you belong to an infinitely greater, eternal reality. The second step: guard your spirit diligently. The world will launch constant attempts to corrupt your nature, to dull the divine fire within you, and to make you forget the magnificent truth of your identity. It will relentlessly bombard you with distracting temptations and deceptive lies designed to pull you away from your true self. Protect your inner spirit with every fiber of your being. Remember the ancient wisdom: above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Be meticulously conscious of what content you allow into your soul, what you read, what you listen to, and the company you choose to keep. Not every permissible thing is ultimately beneficial to your destiny. The third step: speak with unwavering authority. Your words possess the intrinsic power to actively shape and define your current reality. Stop verbalizing weakness, stop declaring defeat, and instead speak life, speak power, and speak your divine destiny into existence. Your voice, when aligned with the source, carries immense divine weight, and every positive declaration you make holds the power to radically shift the atmosphere around you. The scripture is clear: death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. If you persistently speak fear, you will ultimately live in fear. If you speak faith, you will walk in total victory. Use your voice as an offensive weapon, declaring victory even before your physical eyes see the evidence. The fourth step: walk exclusively by faith, not by sight. Your authentic power is not rooted in what your temporary eyes can see, but in what your eternal spirit already knows to be true. Stop waiting for tangible, physical proof before you choose to take action. The entire world relies heavily on its senses, but you are called to rely completely on divine revelation. For we walk by faith, not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Faith is the absolute certainty that even when nothing in your external life seems to make logical sense, the divine is still in complete control. Faith is the act of boldly stepping forward even when the path ahead is shrouded in complete darkness. The fifth and final step: stay intimately connected to the source. Your supernatural strength does not originate from the fleeting resources of this world. It flows purely from above. If you allow yourself to become disconnected from the source, you will inevitably feel powerless, spiritually empty, and hopelessly lost. The ultimate key to living a perpetually victorious life is found in consistently remaining in the powerful, life-giving presence of the one who originally sent you on this mission. As it is written, "Apart from me you can do nothing." John 15:5. Spend significant, quality time in deep prayer, meditate on the Word, and surround yourself with others who are focused on the kingdom. When you remain connected to the source, you inherently walk in undeniable authority, divine wisdom, and supernatural power. Chosen one, you are not a statistical anomaly. You are a divine appointment. You are not defined by the limitations of this world. You are set apart by the mandate of heaven. Therefore, live like it, walk like it, and speak like it. Because the moment you fully and publicly embrace the magnificent reality of who you truly are, the world will be left with absolutely no choice but to take immediate and respectful notice. Perhaps the heavy weight of the world has temporarily caused you to doubt your immense worth and forget your heavenly identity. But let this moment be your ultimate and final awakening. You are not a regular human, you are a divine human hybrid. You are not ordinary, you are a supernatural being. You are not weak, you are a reservoir of divine power. You are not forgotten, you are chosen, set apart, and eternally marked by heaven itself. You were deliberately born for this critical moment. You were sent specifically for this time. You were chosen for this grand mission. The world may have done its best to shatter you, and the forces of darkness may have tried to silence your voice, but the divine fire that burns within you is absolutely unquenchable. You were never intended to fade silently into the background noise of life. You were meant to rise up and shine brilliantly. You were meant to lead with spiritual authority. You were meant to walk in undeniable kingdom power. So right now, rise and take the position that has been reserved for you since before time began. The kingdom of heaven is urgently calling your name. The time for hesitation is over. The time for action is now. Step boldly and unapologetically into the person you were divinely created to be.